Hello everyone and welcome to Ask a Specialist. My name is Dr. Heather Carden and I am one of your nutrition specialists for PruvIt. I come to you live every Wednesday to help you understand or have a better understanding about ketones, ketosis, the PruvIt products, and how you can help optimize your life. Yeah, you saw me get the epic poster up there. Super excited. So I'm really looking forward to meeting each and every one of you at Epic. But today we're really going to get to your questions that you have about ketones and keto OS. My name is Dr. Heather Carden. I am a wellness practitioner in Overland Park, Kansas. I have been practicing for almost 20 years. I've always taught a low carb, high fat diet, and I've used a ketogenic diet as a tool to help people better their life. So whether it's a certain disease process or for optimal performance, I've taught a ketogenic diet in several years in my office. So you can imagine how excited I was when I heard that PruvIt had an exogenous ketone, a supplement you could actually drink and put your body into ketosis in less than 59 minutes. So I love that PruvIt really focuses on education. You're going to get a lot of education at Epic next weekend, and hopefully every Wednesday you get some value here on our specialist calls on Monday and Tuesday. Also get some great value here. So hello to everyone in the US, Canada, Australia, and around the globe. Really looking forward to, again, meeting many of you at Epic. So let's just start with what ketones are. Ketones are simply a byproduct of fat metabolism. Glucose, a very common word most of us know, is simply a byproduct of carbohydrate and protein metabolism. We have two sources of fuel that we can use in our body. One is called glucose, the other one is called ketones. What we do know is that ketones have a far more efficient energy source as our body uses it. We can get more oxygen, we get better energy, we get 3 more ATP per molecule of a ketone than we get of a glucose. So that's why we see all these reports of amazing energy when we start using fat for fuel. Remember, ketones are a byproduct of fat metabolism. We start using ketones or fat for fuel as an energy source. What is ketosis? By definition, ketosis is simply an elevated level of blood ketones. So when you drink keto OS and exogenous ketones, within less than 59 minutes, it puts your body into ketosis. Why is this such an amazing, incredible thing? Because ketones are neuroprotective. Ketones actually help you lose fat, not weight, but fat. They help curb our appetite. They give us better energy, better digestion, better sleep, better focus. They actually help reduce inflammation. Our body actually can make 3 different types of ketones. Beta hydroxybutyrate, which is the ketone body in all the PruvIt products except for the keto cream, acetoacetate, and acetone. So I'll refer to BHB or beta hydroxybutyrate because that's the main ketone body in the PruvIt products. So again, welcome here today, and I will do my best to answer your questions as quickly as I can. I love that we had our social director actually post the information saying that we were going to be here live. So I did have a second to read a couple of your questions. So I know the first question I got asked was, can I use keto OS if I don't have a gallbladder? The answer is yes, you can, because keto OS is water soluble. You simply drink it, it gets into your bloodstream, and then your body utilizes it. And with a true ketogenic diet, which can take you weeks or days to get into, your liver actually has to make the endogenous ketones. That puts a little more stress on your liver and your gallbladder and your kidneys. With keto OS, we don't see that, or we've seen no clinical data that exogenous ketones have any negative effect or contraindication on our liver, gallbladder, pancreas, stomach, or kidneys. Get that question quite a lot. I also want to let you know that we are not making any medical claims. All the research that we use and refer to is clinical data that has been done by an outside resource, which means PruvIt has not funded any of the clinical data. We have studied, we as United States and many research have studied ketones and ketosis for almost 90 years. And exogenous ketones have been studied for almost 2 to 3 decades. So we have an amazing amount of energy and resources of what we know of how ketones work in our body and what it can do for us. So PruvIt simply did what nobody else could do before. They made a white powder or pure therapeutic exogenous ketones that we can drink, put into our body, and put our body into a state of ketosis in less than 59 minutes. And you can expect to be in that state of ketosis anywhere from 2 to 6+ hours, just depending on your body, lifestyle factors, hydration, age, some of those things. So now I'm going to start answering questions here. Someone said, can someone gain weight using Keto OS? And the answer is yes, because muscle weighs more than fat. Our muscle occupies less space than fat. We know that ketones are muscle sparing. So you actually know when you work out, your body tears down and breaks down muscles. If you're drinking Keto OS to help reduce inflammation and reduce muscle breakdown pre-workout, you can actually see an increase in lean muscle mass. Tony Freeman was on the State of Play call 2 weeks ago and talked about his first experience with Keto OS, actually gaining a couple of pounds, reducing his diet, increasing the exogenous ketones, or using Keto OS in his diet, and he increased his muscle mass. For more of those stories or experiences, simply go to the top of the page when we're done here. In the search bar, put down muscle gain, and you'll see many testimonies. Maddie V has got a great testimony of how much muscle and weight he has gained using exogenous ketones. Would someone cause... So Deborah said, would someone have a warm sensation after drinking Keto OS? The answer is yes, that can happen. Ketones are actually thermogenic. Think of Keto OS or exogenous ketones simply as a fuel for our body. So when you put in fuel to the body, it's going to rev it up. So you're going to have maybe that warmth feeling. You're going to have that feeling of maybe a little bit of increased metabolism. If you're drinking the 2.1 with caffeine, caffeine can also give you a warming feeling. MCT is a great source of energy that our body can break down and use. MCT stands for medium chain triglyceride. That is found in the 2.1 or orange stream. We know that can also cause some of a warming effect. So that's just your body revving up and using it for energy. If the warming effect is unpleasant or too much, you simply reduce your serving size of Keto OS and listen to your body and use a serving size that's best for you. So I'm getting a question about 3 questions right in a row about thyroid. The next one's fibromyalgia. So again, we're going to think of Keto OS as a fuel source for our body. We're going to think of our thyroid as the ignition for our body, and our adrenal glands, which are little glands that sit on top of our kidneys that actually are like the engine that help our body run. If we don't put any fuel in our body or no food, we know our body gets tired and sluggish. If we put an amazing source of fuel like Keto OS or exogenous ketones, beta hydroxybutyrate in our body, our ignition's going to run much cleaner and much better. We know that the engine of our body, which is our adrenal glands, is going to run much smoother. So when we suggest using Keto OS 30 minutes before your hungry, tired, sleepy exercise time, that's because it's a fuel source you're putting in your body to help your body recover from that sluggish feeling that could be from either your glucose dropping or just your normal metabolism. So that's a great place to start. When and where do I use Keto OS? And we're going to cover that at the end, and we're going to go through all the products at the end. I just saw a question. Tish says high blood pressure. So I love it when somebody makes it super sweet and short. Yes, you can use Keto OS. It is safe for anyone womb to tomb, but please check with your medical provider before starting any nutritional supplement. If you have high blood pressure, you know that you already might have a potential, if you're on a diuretic, to be slightly dehydrated. Sorry, trying to read the question. Slightly dehydrated. So if you're on a blood pressure medication or have a history of blood pressure, please use the uncharged version of Keto OS. There's a charged and uncharged, which means with caffeine or without. Max has the least amount of sodium. If you're concerned about the sodium content in the PruvIt products, I would use Max. And again, start very slowly. Monitor your blood pressure as your doctor shares you or advises you to do. So check your blood pressure normally every day, or again every 3rd day. Start using a reduced serving of Keto OS, maybe a half a serving, and then increase it slowly as your body desires so. So again, just monitor your blood pressure and let that be the biggest tool. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. A magnesium deficiency can also cause a little bit of hypertension. A slight mild diuretic state can also cause a little bit of hypertension. So Keto OS does have a mild diuretic effect. That's why it has an amazing way of reducing inflammation and pulling fat out of water out of our fat cells. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water to avoid any of those adverse effects. Bev says, can you take it while you're pregnant? Bev, the answer is yes. We know that ketones are safe womb to tomb, which means babies are in ketosis. And when they are born, they are in ketosis, really until about the time the mother stops breastfeeding or we introduced baby food or instant formula. I would just advise that you use the Keto OS uncharged or Max uncharged, and make sure you're drinking plenty of water through your pregnancy and through breastfeeding. But again, make sure you consult with your healthcare provider, nurse care practitioner before starting anything. or any supplement product. So it is safe for babies. It is safe for pregnant women and breastfeeding. This information can also be found at the Help Center. If you go to PruvItNow.com, there's a question mark up in the upper right-hand corner, which is the Help Center. You can find the information there. So I saw a question about endocrine failure, lupus, and fibromyalgia and Crohn's. So I'm gonna put fibromyalgia, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, and lupus all in the same big umbrella, because really it's our body having inflammation, whether it's an autoimmune disease or an inflammation of the colon or of our muscles, it's still inflammation. We know that beta hydroxybutyrate, this is done through clinical studies, again, not done by PruvIt, but through third party. You can Google BHB as an inflammation or ketones of inflammation. We know that ketones actually inhibit one of the inflammatory cascades called NLRP3 inflammasome. So with an autoimmune disease or with general inflammation, whether it's an acute strain sprain, it's a chronic or autoimmune inflammation, we know that ketones can reduce inflammation. Ketones also give about 30 to 38% more oxygen to the tissue, which can help any form of inflammation, whether it's Crohn's, lupus, ulcerative colitis, acute strain sprain, or chronic osteoarthritis. So Aaron says, does sugar cancel out the state of ketosis? Aaron, I love that you answered that question. Most of our studies with Keto OS have done on a standard American diet, which is 40 to 65% carbohydrate. A standard ketogenic diet is only 5% carbohydrate. But what we do know is that when we drink Keto OS, our body will still get into ketosis, diet independent. What that means is no matter what you ate before, if you had a high fat diet, a high carb diet, a bagel, cookies and creams, whatever you had, if you drink one serving of Keto OS within about 15 or 20 minutes, with 99% of the time, you will find your body in ketosis in less than 59 minutes. Now, if you choose to use a shorter serving, and I've recommended that a couple of times here, that you just use a smaller serving size to see how your body's going to respond, because it may have been a while since your body has run on ketones or had a higher level of ketones in your blood supply. Give your body a little bit of time to get used to that. But yes, you can still eat a high carbohydrate diet and put ketones in your body to help get those neuroprotective effects, those better sleep effects. But PruvIt does promote a native 8 style of living, which is a clean style, healthy greens, healthy meats, a well-rounded diet that is low in processed sugars and foods. So hope that helped answer your question. Skylar has no gallbladder. We talked about Keto OS being water soluble. The only supplement that I would say might cause a potential effect if you still have a gallbladder, or if you've had gallbladder issues or gallbladder removed, would be the orange, because of the MCT oil. The liver still has to break that down. Even though the gallbladder doesn't have to do anything, some people still get a little bit worried about doing any type of fats. 3.0 has 0 fats in or the chocolate, and Max has no fat. So if you're concerned about digestion, fatty liver disease, or gallbladder issues, the 3.0 or Max are the ones for you, because it has no fats. But no, if you love Max and you love having more healthy fats, or MCT or coconut oil, you can also add those extra fats back into Max or 3.0. These are hard to, so Mark asked about one kidney and no gallbladder. So today must be a digestion day. So Keto OS is water soluble. On a true ketogenic diet where your body makes endogenous ketones, the liver has to do a lot more work, the kidneys have to do work, and that's why you can find a suspicion of an increased incidence of kidney stones on a true ketogenic diet using endogenous ketones. Keto OS is exogenous ketones. You do not have to be on a ketogenic diet. You do not have to be fat adapted. You can simply drink Keto OS on any diet that you choose, standard American, halal, kosher, gluten-free, dairy-free, grain-free, paleo autoimmune, Atkins modified, whichever one you're choosing, you simply can drink it and put it into your body and get your body into ketosis. Because it's water soluble, our digestive tract doesn't have to do very much. But the amazing thing is, if you do have a history of gut issues, then 3.0 has inulin or chicory root, which is a prebiotic to help turn on those healthy gut bugs. I'm just reading the comments here. So welcome everyone who is here. Someone said, what about Keto OS causing irritability? So the first question I would ask is, how much water are you drinking? 79% of Americans or people, I want to say now we're in Canada and almost to Australia, 79% of the people are dehydrated. The first several signs of dehydration are fatigue, dizziness, irritability, sore muscles, muscle cramps. All those things come in a mild state of dehydration. 2 to 3% dehydration can cause muscle fatigue or irritability. So the first thing I ask is how much water are you drinking when you're using Keto OS? Make sure you're using a rough estimate of about a half an ounce per body pound because ketones have a mild diuretic effect. If you're also consuming a lot of caffeine, that can also cause additional dehydration. So too many ketones too fast on a dehydrated body, or too much caffeine on a dehydrated body, because the Keto OS products do come charged or with caffeine, can cause irritability, can cause lack of focus, can cause some tachycardia. So simply just go back to a normal style of eating, which would be make sure you're having plenty of water, a little bit of sea salt on your foods, and again, reduce that caffeine to just a normal level, which would simply be 1 to 2 cups a day unless your doctor has advised otherwise. Pregnant and children, I generally recommend no caffeine for you, or someone with a heart or tachycardia issue, caffeine for your uncharged also. And Pam, I'm glad that you're finding some good information here. So Danny Sue's asking about swelling in the stomach area. So with 2.1, we have the MCT oil that our liver is going to break down and use for energy. If our body's not used to using ketones, you can get a little more gas or a little more bloating from that. The same thing can be true with the chocolate or the 3.0. It has inulin or chicory root. It doesn't have the MCT, but it has butyric acid, which is easily digested and is great anti-inflammatory. But a prebiotic is to help turn on the healthy gut flora or healthy gut bacteria. So if you get some increased gas, you get some increased bloating. That can actually be an okay thing unless it gets uncomfortable or painful, because it's simply turning on those healthy gut bugs or healthy gut bacteria in your body. So I know some people say, I've had increased gas with the 3.0. That's actually a great thing, because your body's turning on that bacteria that's supposed to be there to help break down all the toxins in your normal diet. So you only get concerned if it's painful or if it's crampy or embarrassing, then simply reduce your Keto OS time, reduce your serving time. Reduce your serving size. I'll try one more time. Look at all the hearts and thumbs. Reduce your serving size until you come to a comfortable level with the gas or bloating. Elizabeth Novak said, what about anemia? We have not seen any cause or sign that an exogenous ketone will cause any decrease in iron or ferritin or red blood cells. Now, if you start to look at a true ketogenic diet and ketones, you can find some information. People who've been on a ketogenic diet for a long period of time can find themselves having a reduced amount of hemoglobin or iron, but we're talking specifically about exogenous ketones that you put in your body. Keto OS and PruvIt do not we do not make you be on a ketogenic diet. People said, do I have to follow a ketogenic diet? No, you absolutely don't have to. But if you are on a ketogenic diet, it is absolutely okay to add the extra exogenous ketones. I was already on a ketogenic diet when I started using PruvIt and found that it elevated my level of blood ketones. It made a steadier state of ketones and actually gave me a little bit more flexibility in my diet and a little more freedom from the stringent calculation and timing I was doing everything. So if you're already fat adapted, already on a ketogenic diet, adding in exogenous ketones can actually just heighten your awareness or heighten your body, take a little bit of stress off you for counting all those macros and percentages, and make sure you're getting the right amount of sleep and the right amount of workout and right amount of water. Simply add those in and you'll find, again, a much more relaxed state of being in ketosis. So Candace is saying she's having trouble with orange, with the reflux and the heartburn. So Candace, that's probably the MCT oil in there. Probably you've had stomach problems prior to this with maybe healthy fats and things like that. So I would suggest, if you have a lot of the orange, reduce the serving size, put a pinch of Himalayan sea salt in there and drink it a little bit slower. Have it with a little bit of food, because if you're drinking Keto OS with food, it will actually help slow down the time that your body absorbs it. Or simply try the chocolate or try the Max, because it doesn't have any MCT oil in it. So Eddie's saying, is it okay to take Keto OS with my Glibberide or my type 2 diabetic medication? When you go to PruvItNow.com and to the Help Center, you'll see a really nice explanation of why Keto OS is safe for type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And we explain the difference between ketoacidosis and just normal ketosis that you get from the exogenous ketone Keto OS. But yes, it is safe for you. Please consult with your doctor before starting that and monitor your blood sugars. I've gotten many questions coming into the specialist center. People are reporting that their blood sugars had gone up after using Keto OS, and I simply ask them, have you been tracking it routinely? And the answer is no. So I found that people start drinking Keto OS and then they start tracking their blood sugars. Being a type 1 or type 2 diabetic, they have no idea what their numbers were prior to using Keto OS. So just make sure that if you have diabetes, diabetes, if you have hypertension or blood pressure issues, that you continue to monitor as your doctor has supervised. Again, start with a reduced serving. You're still going to get the benefit of all those ketones. You may not get into ketosis, but you'll still get the amazing benefits of having ketones into your body, giving you energy at a cellular level. So Linda's asking about her doctor saying that she cannot use or doesn't advise her using ketones. So if you have taken Keto OS to your medical provider and they have recommended with your given health history that they recommend that you do not use Keto OS, and if you send a note into Dr. Andy or myself, we are going to support what your primary care physician says because he or she has access to your medical history and can make the best recommendation or advice for that. So please don't ask us to override what your doctor has said. If you want to switch, someone said, can I switch doctors? That's totally up to you. I'm here to help answer questions about ketones, Keto OS, and the PruvIt products. How quickly should you drink Keto OS after mixing? So Ryan, that's going to be a little bit different for every person. I know there's a lot of athletes that like to drink it 30 minutes prior to a workout, and they want to drink it within 10 to 15 minutes so they really heighten their level of ketones, get into ketosis prior to that workout. Some people like a little gentle rain or like to just slowly absorbing the ketones into their blood supply, and they'll actually drink on it for about an hour's worth of time. We generally recommend that you mix and drink what you can drink within an hour's time. So don't just keep drinking on it for 6 or 7 hours. Mix up your ketones or Keto OS or your white powder and drink it within an hour's time. Take a break, and then you can again have your second serving of Keto OS. And we do recommend that 1 serving is a therapeutic serving and 2 servings is optimal performance. Now there's a bunch of biohackers out there reporting and sharing that they're drinking 3 and 4 servings of Keto OS. Know that if you get too many ketones because you're a biohacker or your body was slightly dehydrated, the symptoms would simply be maybe a headache, maybe a little stomach ache, vertigo, or dizziness. That's just resulting from too many ketones too fast. It is a safe condition. You simply need to rehydrate your body, and your body will excrete those out through normal urination. Elizabeth, we answered the thyroid question earlier, so you can replay this later and listen to that, maybe about the first 5 or 6 minutes into that. Jesse's saying, ADHD for a 5-year-old, what product of Keto OS should I try and how often? So Jesse, with children, no matter what the purpose or reason is that you decide that you want to add Keto OS into your child's supplement regime, I would generally recommend that you start with a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon. I know that one package is 4.65 teaspoons. So if you're starting with a child, maybe 2 to 8 years old, start with a half a teaspoon or a full teaspoon and 3 or 4 ounces of water. If you're a mom and you yourself are just starting Keto OS, then maybe mix it in something that's 16 ounces, and maybe you have 8 ounces and your 2 children each have 3 or 4 ounces. That way you're getting a half to 3/4 of a serving and they're getting a little bit. If you get too many ketones fast, the symptoms are the same for children as they are for adults. If they're a little dehydrated, they can get cranky or crabby, maybe a headache or a little tummy issue. So just make sure you're well hydrating with it. With that being said, you can mix Keto OS with anything hot, anything cold, water, LaCroix. A lot of people love putting the 3.0 in their coffee or tea. So know that you can mix it hot or cold. You're still going to get the amazing benefits of exogenous ketones in your body. So Dee says, can Keto OS aggravate eczema? When we look at all the benefits of what ketones do for our body, Dee, that is not one of the benefits that we see or one of the contraindications of it aggravating eczema. We normally find, and there's a couple of great testimonies on the PruvIt page of experiences people have had of it actually decreasing their eczema very quickly, and people who've suffered from eczema for many years. So simply put in psoriasis or eczema up in the search bar, and you'll get some amazing testimonies. Ketones reduce inflammation and deliver more oxygen to tissue. So if you have a skin condition, it makes sense that ketones can possibly help reduce inflammation at a cellular level, even at the skin level, and put more oxygen into your body. So I think that should help answer the question about eczema or any type of skin condition. And Star says, like to mix it with propelled water, different types of water. So Angela's saying, I'm not seeing any loss. I'm on a strict diet, whole grain diet, 4 ounces. So let's just touch on that super quick. Keto OS is not a weight loss supplement. I know every week I say it really slow. I don't know why, but Keto OS is not a weight loss supplement. The benefits of ketones lead to fat. How can that be true? It's not a weight loss, but it leads to fat loss. Well, let's think of why people overeat or why their body possibly stores extra fat. One can be metabolism. We know that ketones are thermogenic, so they help increase our metabolism. We know they're an amazing source of energy. So if you're overeating or just grabbing something because you're tired, if you have a better energy source to give you more energy, you're going to be less likely to overeat and less often to overeat. So maybe instead of snacking every 30 minutes, you're not going to feel hungry for 3 or 4 hours. When you have more energy, when you have less cravings, and a word called satiety means you feel fuller longer, ketones bring more satiety, as all fats do. So if you feel fuller longer, if you're not having any cravings, if you have more energy, your blood sugar is more stabilized because fats don't use any insulin. They help stabilize your blood sugar. You're less likely to overeat. So yes, you can eat fat to lose fat. The benefits of ketones do lead to fat loss. We know there's so many amazing signaling effects from ketones that we don't fully understand. I'm really, really looking forward to Dr. Dominic and Dr. Ford talking about that at Epic, of how these signalers work in our brains, how these ketones work in our brain to get this better focus, to stop addiction. All these amazing stories that we hear about how ketones work. We also know that our guts have an amazing source of nerve cells in there. We actually have more nerve cells in our stomach than in our spinal column. So when Dr. Dom and Dr. Ford are going to help us better understand about the signaling properties, I think Dr. Jacob Wilson's also talking about the signaling properties that we're just discovering and just experiencing through exogenous ketones. So again, I hope to see everybody there. I'm going to take a minute break here, and I want everybody to put up a 1 if you are going to Epic. So everybody going to Epic, put in 1. I want to see, I'm still reading questions, a 2 if you are not going to Epic. So a 1 if you're going to Epic, and a 2 if you're not able to go to Epic. I know someone's wife's having a baby, or she's having a baby, she can't go. That's a great excuse or reason why she can't go, but let's see who's going, because I want to see everybody there. Someone just asked about the sugar and keto OS. So we'll review those here in just a couple minutes, where the carbohydrates come from. Keto OS is sweetened with stevia. So if you have a stevia allergy, then you need to be cautious using keto OS. So there's lots of 1s. So it seems like lots and lots of people are going, lots of 1s. Let's keep the 1s coming. So excited to see that. I am at my last 5 or 6 minutes. So I'm going to review the keto OS products. I usually ask who's new today, but I'm not going to take time. I want to see who is going to Epic next weekend. So those 1s are still coming on. I'm going to go back to what I talked about last week. I know that there have been some amazing flash sales for you people who like to try lots of different versions of ketones in your body. There was once a 1.2. The salt ratio was different, but there was a 1.2 we had a flash sale on. Then there was a 2.0, which we had a flash sale on. And now we have what's called a 2.1. What do all these numbers mean? The numbers simply correspond to what our formulators are doing with their version. So it's their way of keeping track of the recipe, so to speak, and what varieties, because PruvIt is continually optimizing how our body processes ketones to get the maximum amount of experience putting exogenous ketones in our body and keeping us in that state as long as possible. So currently we have the 2.1, which is the orange dreamsicle. It is sweetened with, it is flavored with orange essential oils. It does have the MCT, which we talked about, which is a medium chain triglyceride. It does use a little bit of cow's dairy to help plate the MCT to the ketone body BHB. The iodine and B12, which appear on the back of the package, are naturally occurring in the small amount of dairy, which is 3 grams, that we use to plate the MCT to the BHB. So if you're a person who cannot use dairy, or maybe you've had stomach issues, you don't do well with fats, like someone else talked about the orange giving them a little bit of trouble, then the amazing choices, you can also use the 3.0, which is the chocolate. The chocolate doesn't have MCT. It has a short chain fatty acid called butyric acid, or butyrate, which is a salt. That's why there's no fat in 3.0. You'll see fat grams in 2.1, which is easier tolerated on the body. It still gives you an amazing source of energy. It's a great anti-inflammatory, but again, we're drinking this for the beta hydroxybutyrate. So the same BHB is found in 2.1, it's found in 3.0. Plus we have inulin or chicory root. As we talked about before, it's a great prebiotic. It's been used for centuries to help balance blood sugar for osteoporosis, but what it does is it helps turn on the prebiotic, which is in the upper part of the intestine, and turn on those healthy bacteria or gut flora so our body can digest better. So you may experience a little more gas using the 3.0, but that's okay. It's just turning on that healthy gut flora. It also has additional amino acids. Whether you're a child, whether you're an aging adult, or a top athlete, we always want to make sure that we have the proper amount of amino acids, because that's what makes really the building blocks to our body. The next one is Max. You guys all knew it was coming. I still see those ones coming. Love, love, love seeing that. Max. Max has the same beta hydroxybutyrate found in the 2.1 and the 3.0, except they've actually blended it biochemically and made it a stronger or more bioavailable ketone product. So you will feel a stronger release of energy from the ketone bodies. You should experience being in ketosis a little bit longer. Does not have any MCTs. It does not have any butyrate in it and does not have any inulin in it. The salts are kosher free. It is dairy free and vegan free. The chocolate is also dairy free, but this says vegan certified and sport and porn certified. So it is amazing Maui punch flavor. But know that it's okay to mix any of the ketones. We're drinking Keto OS for the beta hydroxybutyrate, which is a ketone body that's neuroprotective. It helps us sleep better, better digestion, better focus, better energy, decrease inflammation, better blood sugar. So all of these have beta hydroxybutyrate in them. All of them come charged and uncharged. This sachet is called OTG when you're in the store, which is called on the go. If you see something called a can, K-A-N, and the gold means charged, and it's silver, it's uncharged, which means caffeine or no caffeine. A can is a jug. Both contain 30 servings. The box of Max contains 20 servings. The final product I'm going to say today, because I know next week when I'm on, we're going to have hopefully something else to talk about, a new product coming from PruvIt. So I've heard stories there could be something else coming about there. So Deborah, real quick, I'll come back to that for you, Deborah. We do have keto cream. It is an amazing source of healthy saturated fat. It's a great way to start your day. It's a great way to pick you up in the afternoon. Does not have any caffeine in it. It does have dairy in it. It is coconut powder. It is MCT powder and Ceylon cinnamon. You can add this to anything you want. You can add it to water. You can add it to tea, coffee, coconut milk. There's a great recipe somebody made, like a root beer float out of the PruvIt root beer stuff that you can make and mix it with kids. You can have a half a serving, a full serving. It's just a great way to get healthy fats into your body. You can make cookies, biscottis. There's tons of recipes and recipe videos there that you can find on the PruvIt Facebook page. The last thing we're going to talk about, oh, she asked me what the difference was. So the versions, I'll answer it real quick. We just talked about 1.0, 2.1, 2.3.0. So those simply correlate to the versions that our formulators have used to make Keto OS. The salts are a little bit different in 1.2, 2.0, and 2.1. Again, we continually optimize those salt ratios to help you get a bigger, better experience of ketosis longer. Guarantee or certify that you're going to be in ketosis 99% of the time and maximize the length. So from 2 to 6 hours that you can maximize the time that you're experiencing ketones in your body. I didn't check after 10 o'clock this morning, but at 10 o'clock there were still a few tickets left for Epic. I know they released 100 more tickets. So if you do not have your ticket, please go to PruvItNow.com/epic. This you won't want to miss. There's going to be amazing excursions, from cooking excursions to innate lifestyle movements to amazing speakers. I talked about Dr. Dominic D'Agostino, Dr. Ken Ford, Dr. Angela Poff's going to be there, Dr. Mary Newport, Dr. Jacob Wilson, Ryan Lowry, and some other amazing people. There's many more that's going to be there covering an amazing information about how you can better and optimize your health in 2017. If I didn't answer your question, I'm sincerely sorry, but know that you can scroll back through this. You can listen to it again. You can post it to your Facebook page. You can go back in the history of the videos and you can watch last week's and the week before. If it's more fitness focused information you want, there's Fitness Friday videos that Rob DeVore goes. If you want recipe videos, Natalie and Keto Mom have made more recipe videos. You can certainly look at those. But please, first of all, if you didn't find your question here, go to the Help Center, PruvItNow.com. Up at the top of the page is a circle question mark. Hit on that. The first tab is product. It talks about the different products exactly like I did here, what's in them. It gives you a label, ingredients, why there's dairy in 2.1, how many servings are optimal performance. The next tab is health. Tells us why it's safe for breastfeeding pregnant women, why it's safe for liver and kidneys, type 1, type 2 diabetes. Talks about ketoacidosis. Talks about that ketones do not contain any hormones. I know people report having a lot healthier hormone balance or hormonal life. Ketones or Keto OS does not have any hormones in it, but again, it's that amazing signaling power that we're going to learn about, or still that we're going to learn about from Dr. Dom and Dr. Ford, and I think Dr. Wilson this weekend. So I would not want to miss it. And I've seen this 3 times from Robin Champagne. Can you bake with the PruvIt products? The answer is yes. I have heard of people baking with it. I'm going to try to make some Jello jigglers that people make out of the 2.1 and some gelatin for endurance athletes and for my kids. So yes, it's still stable to bake with it. It is still stable to put it in cold water. It is still able to put it in hot water. So you can, if you have a great recipe, please don't hesitate to share it with us and share it with all of us out there if you have something that's there. So I want to wish you a happy Wednesday. Thank you for letting me come into your home or into your office or into your car, wherever you're listening from. I want to thank PruvIt for really focusing on education, 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 and bringing value to your life, optimizing your health in 2017. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you, except for a couple people that had it too, at Epic. So again, PruvItNow.com/Epic. I'll see you all there.